𝗶𝗵𝗵𝗶 빈당스마세드니 난 쿰창 폐비 유라 세강아.
Oh, I cannot even express what I'm feeling. You can see it if you look at this body. I want to cry when I'm telling about this. I cannot afford to build like this house again. I cannot even express my feelings anymore. I am living by enduring these feelings. Now I feel more miserable because I don't have a son. I'm feeling more depressed. 𝗞𝗰𝗵𝗶 village in 𝗝𝘂𝗶 Township is a village on 𝗞𝗰𝗵𝗶 Road. Before the 2011 Kachin resumed war, the villagers said that it was a village where nearly 100 households lived up to 97 houses. On the morning of 15 October 2023, the 88th Division military column of the military council, which was temporarily based in the village, burned down 12 houses before leaving the village, said the villagers who were house owners. Now the village is included in the liberated areas of Kachin state. They were angry as they were attacked by drones and they themselves burned it down. It was the military council army, the 88th Division. The site has 2 rooms. The site is the kitchen, and it is a wooden house. It is a 1-story house, not a 2-story house. After interviewing a house owner whose house was burned down by the military council army, we will continue to interview other house owners whose houses were similarly burned down and lost their houses during that incident. This house was burned down on 15 October 2023. They were not bombed. They themselves burned it down. We lived here and we had to flee after this house was built less than 3 years. This house was built in 2007 and we had to flee in 2011. It has not been long since I returned to the village in 2019. Now it was burned down like this. It has not been long yet that I have been living here. According to local residents, 𝗞𝗰𝗵𝗶 village gradually became a village around 1958 when refugees from China and Kachin people who migrated from hilly villages affected by the war resided in the area. They said that the villagers of the entire village had to flee the war at least twice before the KIO/KIA and the gender signed a ceasefire in 1994, and they had to flee again more than twice after the Kachin resumed war. In 2018, the war between the KIA and the military subsided. In 2019, negotiation between the KIA and the government, including the military, religious leaders, and civil society organizations, began for repatriation. Therefore, why 𝗞𝗰𝗵𝗶 villagers who were taking a shelter in 𝗞𝗰𝗵𝗶 and 𝗃𝗃 IDPs camps, located in the border area near Lizer, began to return home. Their houses were burned down again due to the 2021 military coup, which caused them to flee the war again, said the house owners whose houses were burned down. It is said that among the houses that were burned down were also the houses built by non-governmental organizations under the repatriation project. At that time, we also had the news that the military column was coming up. Then we hid in 𝗏𝗶𝗃, which is about 2 miles away from our village, and it was not possible to live in the village. At the same time, the military column arrived and hid in the village. It was not like they were camping. I think they were here as an ambush to see if the enemy would come. While waiting as an ambush, the military council army burned it immediately as there were shootings intermittently. Yes, all the houses built by the NGOs, houses built by the 𝗲𝘃𝗃𝗀𝗃 Foundation, and houses that were originally built were burned down in just one day. Our village was burned down once during political chaos in 2011. Our house was not burned down at that time. In the first time, 2 or 3 houses over there were burned down. In the second time, our house was also burned down. It can be said that the village was controlled by the Myanmar government. We had to send firewood to the army. There was a time we had to take responsibility for guarding the village, so the KIA had to move around secretly. At first, there were a lot of people who fled from China in 1958. There were many people like that. There was a village called 𝗲𝘃𝗃𝗀𝗃 on the other side of the stream. We live on that side, on this side, and also on the side that it's now my sister-in-law's farm. It can be said that our father fled here in 1958 because he could no longer live in China. After fleeing, he went and lived on the side of Moonlight Stream called 𝗲𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 and married my mother and gave birth to me there on 15 August 1961. After that, my family moved to this 𝗲𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 village when I was over 2 years old. We moved here after my grandma passed away. Later, those who arrived were those from the other side of the mountain, those from all over the mountain region, and 𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 village came together, and those from these various surrounding areas arrived. We fled once in the 1960s, once in 1988, and once in 2011. We had to flee again in 2023. It has been 4 times that the entire village was destroyed and had to flee the war. It has not been long yet that we came to live here and we did not have to flee like other people before. We fled the war in 2011. We have to flee in an emergency in this 2023. We had to flee a bit back in 2022. However, we went to live in 𝗲𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 for a while. We had to flee 3 times, but houses were not burned down during that time. The locals of the original village had to flee for 2 or 3 times. We came down from the mountain. We arrived in this 𝗲𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 village after living in 𝗲𝘃𝗃 temporarily because we also had to flee while living in the mountains, and there was no need to flee the war anymore. And it was peaceful in the plain area. If I have to say, it won't be finished. I'm full of emotions. I feel so sad that my heart could be shaking. However, I have a strong, indomitable spirit because it is happening on a national scale. Why it is happening on a national scale and the whole country is fighting for the formation of a genuine federal army union. I'm not satisfied as the whole country has been suffering, but how should I say? I was able to endure and control my moral, but I feel full of emotions.
စိတ်ဓာတ်ကိုဘယ်လိုပြောမလားမနေ့ထင်းမနော်စိတ်တော့မကောင်းဘူးဒါပေမဲ့ခံစားချက်လည်းပြည့်နဲ့ခံစားရပါတယ်လို့